Good evening. Welcome to another edition of What's Hot with City Tranquility. I'm your host, Pete Pardo. Today is Tuesday, December the 13th. Thanks for joining us. We've got a jam-packed show today. We've got so much new stuff to talk about, and we're trying to finish up the year here and get to our double whammy best of the year editions, which are coming up very, very shortly. So we're going to run through the last of the new releases for you here today. We're going to try and squeeze as much as we can. Also want to thank everybody for tuning in to our very loving and emotional tribute to the late Greg Lake recently. We've had a lot of good responses from that little tribute show. We really enjoyed doing, although we almost hate to do them because it usually means a really sad event has occurred. But we love to kind of pay respects to the music and the actual man himself, in this instance. So thanks for tuning into that. So let's jump right into it. So our featured CD of the week is the latest from the Neal Morse band. It's called The Similitude of a Dream. Double disc set, prog, epic concept album. And, this is probably my favorite of all of Neal's, well, I was going to say Neal's solo releases, but this is actually the Neal Morse band. So Neal and Mike Portnoy and company. This is less of a more solo album, more of a true band effort. They all took part in the writing. It's awesome. I mean, it's quite heavy in spots. It's symphonic. It's complex. It's all those lovely Beatles harmonies that Morse is known for. Great vocals, great guitars. Keyboards are awesome. It's as you can kind of hear in the background. Mellotron going back there. Thunderous rhythms. Yeah, it's good. I dig it a lot. These guys hit a home run late in the year. This just came out not long ago, and I'm glad I got a hold of it, and it catapulted pretty high on my best of the year list. So, what number came in at? You'll have to tune in and see. I'm not going to spoil it. So, that's coming up relatively soon. All right, we're going to go to classic rock from there. The latest from the Rolling Stones, Blue and Lonesome. I dig it. Basically, the guys decided they wanted to do another studio album. They went into the studio and started working on some stuff, jamming on some stuff, and they were like, "Yeah, we should do kind of like a blues album, And before you know it, they've ripped in like what do we got? 12 old blues covers. It's kind of like a throwback to their first couple albums from the early mid '60s, where they're doing that kind of rhythm and blues thing with the little Chicago blues. A lot of cool covers on here. I Can't Quit You, Baby. All of Your Love. Commit a Crime, Just Your Fool. What else we got here? Hate to See You Go, Hoodoo Blues, of course, the title track. It's quite good. Jagger sounds phenomenal. Richards and Wood are slashing up a storm on the guitars. Even Eric Clapton shows up on a couple tunes. It's a lot of fun. The production's great. It's just a great throwback blues album. And if these old guys are going to try and teach some of the young folks a thing or two about blues, they've done it. They've done themselves pretty well here. So check that one out. Just came out. Another legacy band, the mighty British at Queen, on air, a BBC recording. Okay, 2 discs worth of BBC recordings from the vault between 1973 and 1977. Of course, that's like the early, raw, heavy, hard-rocking, grandiose best of Queen. So you've got, My Fairy King, Keep Yourself Alive, Doing All Right, Liar, Son and Daughter, Ogre Battle, Modern Times, Rock and Roll. What else we have here? Great King Rats. Oh, it goes on and on. Now I'm Here, Stone Cold Crazy, Flick of the Wrist, Tenement Funster, We Will Rock You, Spread Your Wings, It's Late, My Melancholy Blues. You get the picture. It's all sounds stellar. It's heavy. It's rocking. It's Queen at their majestic best. Raw, just great stuff. All information on where the sessions were recorded at, it's all included here. There was a total of 6 in total. So, there's some overlap on some of the tunes, but that's okay. Each track, even if it's been overlapped, they sound a little different. So, check that out. All right, we're going to hop on over to the Laser's Edge roster of artists. Our friend Ken Golden and company. First is from a fairly newish prog band. They've been around a couple years, called Edensong. Years in the Garden of Years. Check out that cool bad boy there, huh? Nice artwork here. These guys play a brand of prog that takes from the old and the new. A lot of flutes and keyboards of all kinds, mellotrons, and Hammond organ and Moog, and You know, acoustic guitars, electric guitars, wonderful vocals. Imagine a cross between Jethro Tull, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Genesis, a little Deep Purple, more modern stuff like Spots Beard, maybe a little transatlantic, little Dream Theater in spots. Not quite that heavy, but I think you get the picture. I dig it. Nice long tunes, a lot of epic arrangements, plenty of solos and complex passages. You know what I'm talking about. Check that out. I'm going to stay on Laser's Edge for this wonderful little album by a band called It's Vision and Ageless Light. Space rock lover's dream here, folks. Think early Hawkwind. Trippy synthesizers, Hammond organ, loads of mellotron, stabbing guitar, lead guitar, heavy riffs, so throw in a little bit of a Sabbath influence, and maybe some modern stoner. Okay, long tunes, just psychedelic arrangements, instrumental guitar noodling freakouts, you know, kind of bizarre but cool vocals. I dig this a lot. The vintage keyboard work on here is just off the charts good. So, like I said, mixed with a little bit of kind of heaviness in spots. Dig this a lot. Another one that's made its way to my top 50 of the year, as a lot of stuff is, obviously. But so investigate that. We're going to stick on Prague. We're going to go to Sweden. So you might remember a Swedish band that released a bunch of albums in the mid-late 70s called Kaipa, right? Well, Roine Stolt and friends. Early 80s, Roine left to go solo career. Eventually formed the Flower Kings and Transatlantic, right? The old keyboard player from Kaipa, after the band split up in the 80s, reformed the band with Roine in the late 90s, early 2000s. Released a couple albums on Inside Out. Roine jumped ship again because he's such a busy guy, right? So they kept Kaipa going, though. Well, now here we are a bunch of years later, and we've got two factions of the band. This new one is called Kaipa da Capo. Their album, of course, in Swedish, hope I don't screw this up, is Dar Skapens Monotony. I probably said that wrong, of course. It's basically Roine Stolt on guitar, his brother Michael on vocals and additional keyboards, and a couple of other original members of the band, a couple of new guys. Classic sounding stuff here, folks, right? Soaring vocals, great melodies, all sung in Swedish. Extended instrumental passages, lots of great vintage sounding keyboards. Roine's wonderful guitar work, you know the deal. Mostly long tunes, most of them are like 10 minutes or more. A couple shorter ones, but then you got a 17-minute epic. So we've got two factions of Kaipa now. I think we've heard that before. How many other legacy bands are kind of doing that nowadays? But I like it. It's quite good. Cool artwork, as you can see. Check it out. Another good one this year. Let's skip to some live stuff, right? So, Southern rock legends, the Outlaws, Legacy Live, 2-disc set, chronicling their 40th anniversary tour of recent lore. Of course, you got Henry Paul fronting the band now. Huey Thompson passed away a number of years ago, so he's been kind of keeping the band going. We've got a 3-prong guitar attack, 2 lead guitarists plus Henry Paul on rhythm guitar. You got Mr. Monty on drums, the original member. All the staples are here, folks. There Goes Another Love Song, Hurry Sundown, Ghost Riders in the Sky, Greengrass and High Tide, Grey Ghost, great Henry Paul solo album song, Holiday, plus you got a bunch of tunes from the most recent Outlaws studio album, It's About Pride. It's a great mix of classics and newer stuff. Sizzling guitar work, guitar solos galore. If you love that classic Southern rock sound, and all those memorable Outlaws vocal harmonies, because of course everybody's singing, taking part in backing vocals on here, so it's just fantastic. Southern rock is alive and well, my friends. Check this out, one of my favorite live albums of the year. We're gonna stick on live stuff, all right? So, Ritchie Blackmore announced late 2015, early 2016 that he was interested in putting together Rainbow once again for a selection of shows in Europe, just to kind of get back into the hard rock thing, which he hadn't really done in almost 20 years. He's been busy with his wife Candace doing Blackmore's Night, the little folky medieval thing they do. So everybody's like, whoa, who's it going to get? There's still, obviously Ronnie Dio and Cozy Powell are no longer with us. But there's plenty of ex-Rainbow guys floating around there, you know. I mean, Joe Turner wanted the gig. Sure, Graham Bonnet would have been up for it, right? Doogie White, I'm sure, could have done it. You know, we've got Tony Carey, could have taken part. Bobby Rondinelli, Bob Daisley, a lot of guys, right? Well, that didn't work out that way. Instead, Ritchie decided to tab the majority of the Blackmore's night band. So you've got Candace and another female backing singer helping out on the side. You've got the drummer and the bass player from Blackmore's night, as well as veteran, well-traveled keyboard whiz Jens Johansson, Stradivarius, and various other acts. On keyboards and on vocals, Mr. Ronnie Romero, little-known vocalist. He's from Chilean descent, but he lives in Spain. He plays with a band called Lords of Black. They are a power metal band. So kind of tabbed someone fairly unknown for the lead vocal slot. And let me tell you, he's the star of the show here. You know, it's Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow, but Mr. Romero is the guy who kind of really wows from the get-go. They do a selection of Rainbow classics as well as some Deep Purple classics. Probably, I mean, I love Purple. I love Rainbow. They're two of my favorite bands. I would have chosen a few less Purple songs and done more Rainbow, but not up to me, obviously. I think Ronnie sings the Dio stuff. Well, I don't just think, I know. He sings the Dio stuff incredibly. I mean, wait till you hear him do Stargazer and Man on a Silver Mountain and Catch the Rainbow and Long Live Rock and Roll. Killer. The Ian Gillan material, you know, not quite as good. It doesn't quite fit as well. His style doesn't fit as well in the Gillan stuff. He sings Mistreated, which was done by David Coverdale very, very well. And the Graham Bonnet stuff he does very, very well, as well as the Joe Lynn Turner. But Child in Time, he's shrieking up a storm. Very, very cool. So this is comprised, the material on here, the tracks are comprised from two shows they did in Germany. The Monsters of Rock show and the Lorelei show. The Lorelei stuff is much better. The band was much tighter. They seemed more, they were gelling better, maybe more at ease. I don't know, the Monsters of Rock show, a little tepid, some mistakes here and there, but otherwise, this is great. You know, if you're a Rainbow and Blackmore fan, you're gonna watch this and you're gonna feel it. You know, it's just really, really cool seeing him back playing these songs again. So check it out. This is a Blu-ray and double disc set, double CD set, so you got all the tunes on here. Very, very cool. Worthwhile from our folks at Eagle Rock. Going to stick on Eagle Rock, so we've got this Heart live at the Royal Albert Hall, featuring the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. First time that the Wilson sisters and company ever played the Royal Albert Hall. You can tell they were thrilled to do it. This is a very cool show that mixes about half the set is Heart classics, maybe a little bit more. The others are newer tunes that they've done on their last two albums. Extremely well done. And still sings Up a Storm. And, you know, Nancy's great. She does a few lead vocals on here as well. I like the song selection. You know, you got the mandatory tunes are on here for the most part. And, you know, some really strong tunes from their last two albums, as well as a really, really cool cover of Led Zeppelin's No Quarter, which is a nice surprise. So, another Eagle Rock release. This one on Blu-ray. Check it out. Good quality, good sound. Really like it. All right, we're going to go over to Spain really quick for a very cool kind of throwback retro band called Eldorado. This album is called Riding in the Sun. We've covered their last couple albums. You know, these guys are big into like a lot of the 70s bands. So if you like that kind of groove-laden hard rock from the early mid-70s, bits of Purple, a little bit of Stones, you know, that kind of stuff. Maybe a little something like, you know, if you like Rival Sons and bands like that, you'll dig this. Not overly heavy, but pretty rocking. Lots of great grooves, some really good, memorable melodies. Guitar work is gritty. Got some occasional Hammond organ and stuff. Vocals are great. You know, I dig it. Dig it. These guys are a lot of fun. I've liked their last couple albums, and this is no different. I think this is one of those bands, international bands, that with a little bit of help could really break big internationally. So check it out. Eldorado. All right, I'm going to go to New York. Okay, a band called Tower. This is their self-titled new album. I like it. They mix kind of like a little proto-doom, little bits of Sabbath with the new wave of British heavy metal. Classic early 80s metal. They got a female singer who's like singing to the heavens, you know? So she's got that high-pitched wail. and the guitars are just gritty and heavy, lots of solos and cool, crunchy riffs, memorable tunes. It's down, it's dirty, it's just classic early 80s stuff. I dig it. Not a perfect album, but a lot of fun, and just, it's just heavy metal, folks. Nothing fancy about it. I dig it. All right, we're going to talk about some jazz stuff before we go back to metal again. So this latest is from a Indonesian band, an Indonesian guitar player that I like a lot. Dewa Budjana, I believe is how he says his name. Centuary is the name of the album. He's got with him in the band Tony Levin, Gary Husband, and Jack DeJohnette. Legends in jazz and progressive rock on bass and drums and keyboards, and various other guest stars. This is a 2-disc set, just sizzling, and gorgeous jazz rock fusion. Okay, just really good. He's just such a good guitar player. He's a great writer, and he's got some perfect people playing alongside of him. Just the drum work is off the charts. I mean, DeJohnette and Husband do a fantastic job here. You know what Tony Levin brings to the table, right? And it's just great songs. And they go from sizzling jazz fusion to kind of mellow atmospheric stuff, little touches of prog, a lot of like Indonesian ethnic type tracks with great melodies, and just a wonderful, wonderful release all around. And this one is brought to Favorite Nations and our friends over at Moon Records. So investigate that one. Here we have a very cool tribute to the late Joe Pass. It's called Inspired. It's featuring a bunch of guitar players that we've all pretty much heard about. Rael Missick, John Abercrombie, Peter Bernstein, and Lage Lund. A little transatlantic affair here where they kind of pay tribute to the wonderful guitar stylings of Joe Pass. And it's just a really, really nice album. I'm sorry, Joe Pass. Jim Hall. What am I talking about? It's getting late. I'm talking about a lot of stuff. Okay, tribute to Jim Hall. And so they got some Hall classics on here and jazz standards. Unfortunately, all these players aren't playing together on every song. Some are solo, some are duets. I think there's only one tune where they're all featured on it. But it's really, really good. Classic guitar work, as you can imagine. Jazz lovers, especially jazz guitar lovers, are going to want to check that one out. Okay, some reissues on the jazz front. So we've got this great thing from the Swiss Radio Days Jazz Series, number 40. This is Sonny Rollins Trio and Horace Silver Quintet, live from Zurich, Switzerland, 1959. Yeah, baby, classic jazz from the vaults. You got 2 shows here, one from Radio Studio Zurich on March 5th, 59, and then, it's all the same day, forgot about that yet. So we've got Horace Silver Quintet comes in once Sonny Rollins is done. They run through a bunch of classic tracks. This is a really, really nice set if you like vintage jazz. And then we're going to go over to this really, really cool collection. If you're a John Coltrane fan, you really haven't gotten a lot of this stuff. This is called Train 90. It's a 4-disc set that kind of looks at all the different eras. Coltrane died very, very young, so it's not like he was around that long. But, he worked with Miles Davis. He did solo stuff. He played with, Dizzy Gillespie and all sorts of other people. Who else we've got on here? Oh, I mean, he's played with everybody. Thelonious Monk. So you've got like select tracks from all the different, kind of projects and studios and sessions that he participated in, bands and solo stuff. And it's got a really big, thick booklet that talks about everything and gives you lots of detail. I totally dig it. Very, very cool. Like I said, if you're a jazz fan, never really dived into the world of John Coltrane, he's got a ton of stuff out there. That's a really good collection to get. All right, we're going to quickly run through here. We got Cruz del Sur. We got the latest from Hammer King. King is Rising. Cheesy power metal. It's good, but every song has to do with hammers and kings and wars and battles, and the vocals are high-pitched and, just kind of over the top. Guitarists are cool, a lot of great solos, You gotta love this stuff, right? It's solid. But the cheese factor is there. And here we got a cool thing called Quicksand Dream. Oh my! Hold on, I need the glasses for this, folks. Hold on here. Beheading Tyrants. Sorry about that. This is a band who hasn't released something in quite a while. I think it's been about 15 years. It's a duo with some guests on drums. This is a throwback to Manila Road, Liege Lord, Fate's Warning, Sirathungol. Early 80s classic metal, U.S. metal. Dig it. long tunes, a little bit of Candlemass influence on a couple tunes, you know, a little doom, but mostly kind of that classic melancholy metal, great guitar work, decent vocals, cool song. Not a lot of content on here. It's only about a half hour long, but definitely worth checking out. Those two from Cruz del Sur. Now we are going to rip through a bunch of AFM releases because it's late in the year and they're just assaulting us. Our buddy Dustin, who works with AFM, is just sending us all sorts of cool stuff. So we're going to start with the latest EP from Leaves' Eyes. It's called Fires in the North. Of course, we've got a brand new singer in Leaves' Eyes. Kind of controversial what's been going on there. We're not going to get into all that, but basically what they do here is acoustic tune and 3 brand new recordings of older tracks done with a new singer. Kind of cool, you know, if you like Leaves' Eyes, you get a good idea of what the new singer sounds like. Apparently we got a new studio album coming out from them really, really soon. All right, this one I'm digging a lot. Accept, and Victory guitar player Herman Frank has released a bunch of really, I mean, he's always been a great guitar player, but kind of got overshadowed in Accept. He's released some really strong solo albums with a kick-ass band. His latest is called The Devil Rides Out. I dig this a lot. Heavy, crunchy, just classic Teutonic metal. I don't know any other way to say it. His guitar work is awesome. Screaming guitar solos, crunchy riffs, sizzling pinch harmonics, great vocals. The band is just happening. Really, really good. I dig this. This is a very, very strong album. In addition to that, to the new album, AFM has re-released 2 of his prior solo albums. So we've got, oh boy, like I said, I'm having a problem seeing it tonight, folks. So we've got Right in the Guts and Loyal to None. There we go. Love those album covers. Look at that artwork. Again, more of the same. These are a few years old, but if you didn't get them the first time around, worth getting now. Got some bonus tracks on here. Just really, really strong, melodic, classic metal. You know, from Mr. Herman Frank. Very underrated guitar player. Like I said, he never seemed to get his due when he was in Accept, because you know, alongside Wolf Hoffman, it's kind of hard. But you know, on his own, he's just making it happen. All right, here we have the 20th anniversary collection, 20 years of metal addiction from the AFM roster. It's a 3 CDs, jam-packed with a tune or two from most of the bands that are on the roster. So they've got it all covered here. I'm not going to go into all the different bands, but if you're at least somewhat familiar with AFM Records, everybody's well represented here. So if you just kind of want to get a taste for what the label's all about, this is worth getting. All right, we're sticking on AFM, obviously. We're going to finish up here. Solution 45, Nightmares in the Waking State, Part 2. Christian Alveston, lead singer extraordinaire. Used to be in Scar Symmetry. You know him. He's done a couple really good albums with these guys. So it's a mix of, like, crushing death metal with progressive metal. And, you know, he's got this great, clean vocal style as well as booming behemoth death growls. He does them both here. Death metal, it's prog, it's all sorts of stuff. It's melodic, it's crushingly heavy, it's brutal. Really good. Like this one a lot. Sirius Black, Mirror World, limited edition. Really, really fine melodic rock and metal. Dig it a lot. These guys are, I mean, the songs are instantly memorable. I'm liking this one a lot. The latest from Finnish, I don't even know what to call it, Finnish band. They're obviously a Finnish band, but shock rock band, I don't know, whatever. Lordi, Monsterphonic. Yeah, you know, it's fun. I mean, you look at the guys, and they've had this kind of image, you know, they wear the big masks and costumes, monsters and all that kind of stuff. The music is not really that heavy, but it's good melodies, it's rocking, you know, it's fun. I mean, how can you really can't go wrong with Lordi, you know. And then the last is we've got the latest from Asenblut. It's called Berserker. Asenblut. Viking death metal, you know. Obviously, you know where these guys are coming from. It's all about wars and battles, of course, sung in their own tongue, so who the hell knows what they're talking about. But I dig it. If you like Amon Amarth and Man of War, it's those two bands combined, but kicked up a notch with, you know, way more brutal on the death metal front. So anyway, that's a bunch of AFM stuff. This is our last show of the year with new releases. So like I said, we're going to be back at you in just a few short days. We're going to be over at Rock Fantasy with a little cast of characters. We're going to look at some favorites from the year. I'm going to give you my number 20 through 11 with everybody else at Rock Fantasy. And the following week, we're going to do my top 10 of the year. We're going to finish out 2016. So no forgotten favorites today because we're running out of time. We've covered enough. So with that, I leave you. See you in just a few days from Rock Fantasy. So check out all this new music. There's a lot of it. So I hope you're writing it all down, but you may have to rewatch this a couple times. And be safe. Investigate all the new stuff, but don't forget the classics. We'll see you next time. Getting ready for some best in 2016. Take care.